Welcome to the Turing test. Today we're dissecting the evolution of GPT-5, what went into its training, how it's different from its predecessors, and why these changes really matter.
Absolutely, it's fascinating stuff. So, to kick things off, what do you think sets GPT-5 apart when it comes to scale?
Well, you see, GPT-3 was trained on roughly 570 GB of text. Then GPT-4 stepped it up about 10 to 20 times that amount. But GPT-5, it's not just about more data, it's diversified in an almost staggering way, spanning billions of documents, including code, academic research, dialogue, and even multimodal inputs like images and structured data.
Yeah. Wow, that's like moving from, say, a local library to an entire digital cosmos of information, right?
Exactly. It's like, you're not just expanding a library, but, well, you're inviting curated collections where every piece is chosen for quality.
Absolutely. And that brings us to data quality. Earlier models grabbed text off the open web, which sometimes meant dealing with a lot of noise. But GPT-5's training data is a whole new beast, isn't it?
Right, definitely. GPT-5's dataset isn't just enormous. It's been carefully curated with licensed and vetted data. This improves the overall accuracy. It dramatically reduces the garbage in, garbage out dilemma.
I mean, who needs an AI confidently spouting off that Abraham Lincoln invented the light bulb, right?
Exactly. Now, moving on to safety tuning, an area where GPT-5 introduces some significantly improved mechanisms.
Yeah, so what's different here compared to, say, GPT-3 and GPT-4?
Initially, GPT-3 was mostly about post-generation filters for safety. Then GPT-4 leaned into reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. But GPT-5 goes a step further with what many call continuous alignment loops. Essentially, human and AI reviewers are in a constant loop, auditing responses during training and even
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's interesting. Sort of like a live service game patch that updates behind the scenes to keep everything running smoothly?
That's exactly it. Though unlike game patches, these updates are invisible to users, ensuring factual, respectful, and nuanced responses, especially with sensitive topics.
So it's like the AI is continuously learning and self-correcting, which is a big leap from static tuning methods.
Right on. And then we have the fine-tuning aspect. GPT-5 is rocking a modular fine-tuning system. Instead of a one-off training tweak that you had to redo entirely for every new niche, now developers can plug in specialized skill packs.
That sounds a lot like installing language packs in a video game, where you can add a medical module or a financial compliance pack without overhauling everything else.
Exactly. And there's also a neat upgrade, built-in consistency checks. So if you ask a question in different ways, GPT-5 is more likely to deliver consistent answers rather than, well, flipping a coin each time.
I can see how that would be super critical in fields like law or healthcare, where consistency isn't just a perk, it's essential.
Absolutely. But there's that elephant in the room. All these upgrades make GPT-5 a bit more complex and cost-intensive compared to earlier models.
Right, so for big enterprises, investing in something like GPT-5 makes sense, especially with its multimodal capabilities. But what about smaller teams working on a budget?
That's a valid point. The performance per query might currently be a heftier price tag for smaller operations. However, as hardware efficiency improves over time, the cost should drop, potentially making today's high-end performance tomorrow's budget-friendly option.
Interesting. A bit like how the first high-end computers were prohibitively expensive until technology made them accessible to everyone.
Yep, and that's the vision here. The improvements in GPT-5 signal a shift towards models that are more like persistent collaborators rather than one-time geniuses. They're built to retain context over longer periods, remember, user preferences, and seamlessly integrate with our daily tools.
Right, and that continuity can really transform how we engage with AI in our everyday work and personal lives. But isn't there also a concern, though, about the AI getting a bit too familiar with our habits?
That's a fair critique. While the idea of an AI that knows your workflow inside out is exciting, it does raise questions about privacy and over-reliance. However, the goal here is less about surveillance and more about improved assistance.
Yeah, true, though one could respectfully argue that with these enhancements, there's a line between helpfulness and intrusiveness that we need to keep in check.
Sure, I get that. It's definitely a balancing act, optimizing for both performance and ethical constraints. And that's why continuous human feedback loops are so vital. They help the model evolve in a responsible way.
So, instead of being a static one-shot expert, GPT-5 is more like a living, breathing assistant that adapts over time.
Exactly. It's less about a rigid pre-trained persona and more about an adaptable collaborator that, well, learns incrementally and retains helpful context.
And adding to that, its multimodal prowess allows it to interpret charts, images, and even complex documents in one go. That can be a game changer for industries that require rapid data synthesis.
Absolutely. Think about it this way. It's like having a Swiss Army knife that not only can cut, but also scans, detects, and even diagnoses issues all at once.
Yeah, really paints a picture. And it also means fewer individual tools are required in a workflow, which might streamline processes significantly for companies handling vast amounts of information.
Right, reduction in the number of tools means better integration and less overhead. But I do wonder, does this come at a risk of reduced specialization since the model is trying to do everything?
That's a sharp observation. There's always a trade-off between versatility, and we have to keep an eye on that balance. Perhaps the modular fine-tuning helps mitigate that risk by allowing for adjustments without compromising the core functionality.
Good point. It's an iterative process, and the field is evolving fast. So, while GPT-5 may seem like a giant leap forward, it's also paving the way to even more refined models in the future.
Indeed, it makes you wonder, what's next? More context retention? Even more precise alignment? Maybe even a model that adapts in real time to the nuances of each individual user?
Exactly. The vision seems to be moving away from that single-shot genius vibe to something more like a long-term collaborator that evolves with us. And that is both thrilling and a bit, daunting when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like we're on the brink of having an AI personal assistant that could practically handle every aspect of our digital life, both a blessing and a challenge in today's ethical landscape.
Right, and it all comes down to ensuring improvements in reliability, safety, and ethical responsiveness while pushing performance boundaries.
So, in a nutshell, GPT-5 is not just a bigger model, but a smarter, more adaptable, and continuously evolving system. It's setting a new standard for what we expect from AI collaborators.
Exactly. It's a major step forward, even if it invites some tough questions along the way. And as technology marches on, it's our responsibility to critically assess both the innovations and implications.
Well said. I think that's a wrap on today's deep dive. Thanks for this insightful conversation.
Thank you. It's been a blast breaking down GPT-5 with you. Until next time, keep questioning and exploring.